Xit family. Hi, BlaXit family. Ow, tangled. Hi, BlaXit. Oh, it looks a bit wonky. Hang on, let me just straighten everything out. No. Sorry. Okay. 1 second. I'm just going to add some more lights. See, it does look a bit dim to me. Hang on 1 minute. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So BlaXit family, BlaXit family, BlaXit family, let me know if you can see and hear me. Is everything all right? Sorry, I'm a little bit late today. I'm still trying to, let me pull this out and then I can make it straight. 1 second. I'm just putting the microphone and everything in, so just bear with me. Sorry, just rushing. Okay, let me know if you can see me and hear me. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Light check 1 2 1 2. BlaXit family, BlaXit family, BlaXit family. Hello. Please let me know in the comments if we are live. Please let me know that we are public as well. That'll be great. If you're just joining us here, welcome to BlaXit. Welcome. BlaXit is your channel that is dedicated to your repatriation, relocation back to your nation. I'm Nyancho Kajabi. I'm your host and I'm the CEO and founder of BlaXit. So welcome to BlaXit. BlaXit is about the eradication of racism. The only way to eradicate racism is to leave it behind and come and live with your own kind. And we are broadcasting from West Africa. We are broadcasting from beautiful Gambia, which is where we repatriated to. Lovely. I'm just going to say hello to Tata World. Thank you, Tata World. You can see me, you can hear me, Tata World. Yeah, you can hear me as well. Everything is okay? Let me get some water. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, last week was a really packed show. I did have some questions that were sent to me, so I would like to answer them because I told you if you'd like to ask me any questions, then you can. You can WhatsApp them to me on +220 240 5273. Our mod today is Cafre. Thank you, Cafre, for moderating for us today. Welcome to Robert. Welcome to Hale and Tata, and welcome to Entertainment on Relax Music and Sanu Kaparangu. I hope I said your name correctly, Sanu. Yeah, welcome. Why do you live in Gambia? Okay, this is why I said to ask questions in advance. So if you want that to be a question on next week's show, I would like you to WhatsApp that question to +220 240 5273. That way I'm able to give you a fuller answer, and people that have asked questions already, I'm able to answer them first. The people that did actually write in to us. So those are the ones that I will be responding to first, because obviously they took the time out to respond to me, and I appreciated that so much. So I'm going to quickly go into that. I hope you're well. Let me just do a little bit of housekeeping. BlaXit is a channel that is high vibrational. We deal with high frequency vibration. We are about our empowerment, our upliftment, our development, our growth, and our future. as a united Africa, as united Africa, as united Africans, sorry, and as Black people globally united under the banner of Africa. Okay, so just so that you know, we keep it peaceful, we keep it happy, and we keep it positive. Okay, so in saying that, I'm going to ask you one of the questions. Someone asked me to give a brief financial outline regarding what I would tell someone if they were repatriating. So I said that I would, give them the first steps, the first few steps, which I'd like to do here. So like I said, if you ask me questions, I'll quite, happily answer them, especially in terms of anything to do with repatriation. So the first thing that I said is to assess your assets. That's very, very important. One of the first steps that you must do is look at what you have, okay? And when I say assets, that includes all forms of income, including passive income, okay? And look at ways in which you can also have ones which are transferable, like having a job online or doing something that you can do that is also transferable. Very important, okay? The other thing is to look at things like, in one sense, your car's not an asset, it's a depreciating asset, let's say that much. But, look at the value of it at the time when you would be selling it or shipping it, because you might be shipping your vehicle, yeah? Or if you've got another vehicle, if there are two vehicles in the family, one you might sell and use as an asset. You might have a home or multiple homes, or maybe you're renting and you're thinking about subletting at a higher price to give you a residual income. So those are the types of things that I would say to you to look at, and look at the income from your investments. So do you have shares? Do you have, for example, Bitcoin investments? Do you have blockchain investments? Do you have high yielding accounts or interest accounts at the bank? Do you have some of the bonds that were given to your children that you can cash out, like what they do in England? Those types of things. So look at all of those things as assets, and start to, if you like, do an evaluation of your assets and look at what you have. So if, for example, if you're going to be selling a home, you're going to have to look at all of the other ongoing expenses of when you come here to live, because obviously you have to live somewhere, etc., etc. So that's the first thing. What kind of business will you start and do here if you're not in retirement? Because people that are in retirement have different types of packages, and they also have their retirement pensions that they can live off of, and usually have assets such as homes that they can sell. So what type of business can you start? What kind of business can you manage successfully? That's very important. It's not just about starting a business. It's also about managing it successfully, and also use your past experience and your current experience in order you might have a multiplicity of skills. You could have been a registered nurse. You might want to do a business where you're doing healthcare checks, mobile healthcare checks. There's so many things that you can do. I'm just using that as an example. If you, for example, was a builder, then you could look at starting a construction company, going into construction, for example. So I'm just using those as examples anyway. Also, the feasibility, the needs of your business, and the entry into that business. And also, when you're going to be living somewhere, so you have to take into account that you'll be paying rent for that property, and also if you're going to be buying a property here, or whether you're going to be building a property here. And if that's the case, you need to acquire the land, do the paperwork, and also build. So those accounts, those costs have to be taken into account. So you do need a BOQ. A BOQ is a bill of quantity. A bill of quantity gives you the idea of what the actual expense is going to be. Okay, and so we also you need to look at, if you're going to come to buy and sell, you need to do a feasibility study of what is going to be more viable to buy and sell here. If you're going into transport, also the same thing. You need to look at, which are the most viable routes, etc., etc. Okay, so you have to look at all of your total outgoings that are going to be associated with your repatriation, including your shipping fees, your flights, your storage expenses, your taxes, your clearance, all of those things have to be included. So I hope I've answered your question and given you a better idea of repatriation and associated costs. So that was just a very quick overview, because I wanted to answer your question very quickly. So it's an assessment. You have to do an assessment. I mean, that is the most important thing. Now, last week, I mean, a lot has happened in the week, hasn't it, family? A lot has happened in the week. Let me say hello to Rahul. Let me say hello to Robert at Ashun TV, Entertainment on Relaxed Music. Asked me, why do I live in Gambia? Marie France. Hello, Marie France. I want to thank you all for joining BlaXit. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So I want to thank you so much. Tata Worth said hi. Okapem Obenjuri. Amen. Hi. It's a long one. Okay. Vanilla Gorilla. What you say about my... Okay. Oh my gosh. I think we've got some trolls. Yeah. I think we've got some trolls. So let's deal with those. But anyway, listen, everybody else, welcome. Last week we covered a wide range of subjects. We talked about black fatigue and how coming to Africa was a cure for black fatigue. Very, very important. That we discussed that, and I think it was also important for us to talk also about Maxwell, who was the inventor of the Sept car that runs off of radio frequencies, also his green power pack, also his drone and his helicopter. We spoke about that, and I did give out the information on our community page as promised. If you want to go and invest in a great African inventor, I did give out that information. And I think previous week I gave out the information regarding investments in gold in Burkina Faso. So I will be giving out that information because we have to invest in Africa. We have to invest in our future. And of course, I also spoke and gave out information about Serenity Estates. We have plots in Gunjur. We have plots. This is repatriation land. I must state this is repatriation land. So it's much cheaper than what you find on the usual open market. So this is repatriation land, land that's been secured for you to repatriate to. Okay, so we have plots in Khartoum Riverside Estate, Serenity Estate. There's also plots in Gunjur. There are plots in Sanyang, and there are plots in Aneto Sion. So just so that you know that there are plots in more areas that have become available. So I want to talk about also something that's really important about repatriation and why I think it's important for you to repatriate and why it was important for me to repatriate. I know if you don't know my story, I'll just briefly say it right now. The story is that I lived in England, and I was born in England in the 70s in the heights of racism, serious racism, it's no joke. And, you know, we suffered so much. As a result of being first gen. We weren't really prepared for it because our parents, you know, came from the Caribbean and came to England, and they weren't prepared for it. So ownership verification. I think we've got another Caffrey. Yeah, we have some trolls, hon.
Okay.
Can you deal with them, please?
My chat's not going.
Your chat's not going. Let me do it then.
Let me check.
Let me do it.
Reload my chat. Let me reload my chat.
Wait, let me just
Okay, there we are.
remove. I'm just removing some content. I'm really sorry, fam.
Sorry, my chat wasn't loading for some reason. Okay.
Okay. Elachia, thank you. Yeah. I'm really sorry. We've got trolls in.
This guy's joking. I'm gonna hide him.
Just remove the comments as well, and just hide them from the channel, because it's not fair on everybody else. It's not fair on you, is it? No, it's not. And so anyway, so I was fortunate enough to be born into a family where Pan-Africanism was high on the agenda. Garveyism was high on the agenda. Coming back to Africa was high on the agenda. So I was born and imbued with a sense of African love and love of myself as an African princess, as my dad used to call me, an African princess. So I was convinced that I honestly was. And everything about me oozed this confidence. As an African princess. Maxwell, good morning, how's your day? Thank you very well, Maxwell, thank you for asking. I ooze this confidence, and I hope that you also tell your children that they are African princes and princesses, and you imbue them with this sense of confidence and love of being black. Because black is beautiful, black is powerful. We talked about melanin last week. We talked about Dr. Layla Africa, and we talked about melanin and how important melanin is, and the role that melanin plays in our life, and why it's important to look after ourselves in that melanin, and why it's important to come to Africa, right? It's very, very important to come to Africa. And I talked about the African conditional stimulus and the secret program, and I did say that I would talk about it this week. So the secret program, African conditioning stimulus, because it's an ongoing thing, is very, very important, okay? Because it's affecting us daily, okay? So for example, you have unconditioned stimulus, and those are people, for example, people that have never ever had to need for anything or want for anything, okay? And then you have conditioned stimulus, people that are given intermittent starvation or poverty, made to live in lack. Their conditioned stimulus is completely different. So like, if you like, rich and poor, people with privilege, people without privilege, okay? So those are like the differences, and they have different triggers. So we have different triggers. And there are a lot of subconscious triggers that have been done intentionally to us. And there was even a study on this in 2017 by the National Institute of Health in America, and it looked at the racial bias, and my goodness. And that's why I say the only way to eradicate racism is to leave it behind and come and live with your own kind. Because I'm going to tell you about the difference that is made in my life, I swear to you. And yesterday, if you missed the live, we were talking about citizenship in Gambia with Dr. Kambon on Abibi Tumi TV yesterday. We will be redoing it because we had a very short window in which to market it. So we will be redoing it. I want to say hello to Boninkosi Michael. Hello, Boninkosi Michael, and hello, Harris Khan. How are you? Okay, and 2017 X. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the chat. Can I have a few more thumbs up for? So they did a check on racial biases and the impact of stereotypes. Living in the West on black people, very, very important. And it showed about the impact of fear and conditioning and the psychological differences that were experienced by white people and black people, and how different our lives were and the impact of those. And one of them that black people had was high levels of anxiety and PSD, okay? So post-traumatic stress disorder, okay, PSD, just in case I didn't say. But we can change this. I want you to know that you can change this narrative, okay? Harris, how are you? Yeah? Okay, listen, I'm going to go into this, right? We can shatter your illusion of superiority. We can shatter the European, white, Anglo-Saxon, Celtics, whatever you want to call it, Harris. We can shatter your illusion of superiority, okay? Because when you walk This is what I want to share with you. This is very important. And this is what I've experienced. So I'm just going to share it with you because it's so important in terms of the empowerment that you will face as a people, face as a nation, and face as an individual. Very important, okay? Face as an African person living in another country, because most of us that are watching this aren't watching from Africa. Most of us are watching this from Europe or America. You know, tell me where you're watching it from. I would love to see. So tell me 2017 X. Tell me, where are you cold? Yeah. So come into the comments and tell me where you're from, please, and put it in the comments. Okay. So shattering their illusions of superiority. We can do that. Yeah. We can change the whole narrative. We can do that. And all we have to do is change the way in which we think about Africa, change the location that we live at, and change how we invest and where we invest, not only our time, not only our money, but our resources, and also how we protect our resources and how we control our resources. Not just in America. I mean, I'm talking about Africa, I'm talking about the UK, I'm talking about the Caribbean, I'm talking about Melanesia, I'm talking about wherever there is a black footprint, okay? Thank you so much, Tony. Mwah, kisses to you, right? So we're shattering their illusions of superiority, and I'm telling you how we're doing it. When you walk out of their world, okay, you shatter their illusion of superiority that they built their whole world on. Because why? Yeah, because you've got choice, okay? When we start leaving in numbers, okay, real numbers, I mean en masse, yeah, en masse. First, the shock will come to them, and then the disbelief, yeah? Black unity, the African return from the West back to the best, is something that they never saw coming, I'm telling you, because of their illusions of superiority, yeah? In their minds, they think that we're trapped in the West, we can't leave, that we're trapped in America, we can't leave, we're trapped in England, we can't leave, we're trapped forever. They took us into slavery and we can't leave, okay? But we are going to challenge their cycle of control. They think they have total control over us. And they do not. They don't. I'm telling you, me coming to Africa has proven that. Yeah? It challenges the very foundation of not only their delusion, but our delusion that they're all powerful, because they're not. They are not all powerful, and you don't have to live there. You don't have to be with them. You don't have to power their system. You don't have to put money into their system. You don't have to put your blood, sweat and tears and years and good health into their system just to live. No, you can live in Africa and live a good life. Okay, that's right, Tony. They are panicking, and they are panicking because we are leaving. We are shattering their illusion of superiority, because now we're seeing, hang on a sec, without our input, it's actually an inferior system that they're running. And that they're not superior to us. When you come to Africa, you realize they're not superior to us. You see Africans with the same things as they have. You see Africans with the same private jets like they have, and the big mansions and the money and the and you see the same poverty that they have. They have homelessness. I saw more homelessness in England than I've seen here. You know, I'm telling you, the educated and skilled are leaving. Absolutely. And why shouldn't we? Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Laura Queen F, thank you so much. You're such a darling. Mwah. Yeah. Kisses to Tony and kisses to Laura Queen. Thank you to all my beautiful emperors and empresses out there. Today is Emperor and Empress Day, because today we are celebrating the birthday of Kwame Nkrumah. Okay, and I am going to do a special tribute towards the end of the program. Okay, and we must thank all of our Pan-Africanists who helped to pave the way for us to come today, and I did put it on the community page, so I hope you did see the tribute to him. Javel Higgins, how are you? Stockholm Syndrome, absolutely. We can, sorry, I hope I said your name right. Javel Higgins said, that we have Stockholm syndrome and that we can liberate ourselves once we liberate our minds. Absolutely. And that is part of the process. And if you like, part of the, part of the process, part of the purpose, I should say. Part of the purpose of BlaXit is, our mind emancipation. It is to help give some information and share some information so that we can start to undo a lot of the misinformation that we've been given, a lot of the miseducation, the way we've been misguided, the way in which they try to make us feel inferior instead of superior. And, I have been criticized so much by so many channels for saying that Africans are superior. And I really don't care. You can criticize me all day long. There was an American channel, they got nearly a million views by saying I'm a stupid liar because I said it. And I really don't care. And they didn't even know their facts about who invented the toilet. They're the stupid liars. They should have known that the toilet was invented in Egypt in 31,000 BC. But they didn't know, they just about knew that Garrett A. Morgan did the traffic light. How can you live in America? And he invented it there and sold it to the General Electrical Company. And you don't even know, who's a stupid liar? Come on, please, I beg, honestly, yeah? So how can we undo a transgenerational, how can we undo, it's true, an ongoing generational mindset? They've used this word trans for the wrong reasons. That's why I'm not using it, okay? Cyber, America and England need to pay their karmic debt. This is the thing, listen, I don't know, Janelle, we are vibing right now, okay? Because I'm on exactly the same frequency as you, okay? I'm glad that we are on this frequency today, BlaXit family. The Rumor 44 says, I'm African and I know this. I'm so proud of you, okay? Rumor 44, thank you for saying it. And stop acting like you can't see that I'm spitting facts here. Of course you're spitting facts, yeah? Spitting nothing but facts, yo! Keep them coming, okay? Keep them coming. So anyway, they expect us to always bend in servitude, right? To their money, to their power, to their establishments, to their businesses, okay? And to always forgive them, okay? Always forgive them. What for? And their forebears. What for? Yeah? For centuries of genocide and enslavement, for theft, colonization, and racism. Why? We have to forgive ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves. We do. Because why? We haven't done enough. We've not done enough. No. To change the narrative, we have not done enough. Okay? So we have to forgive ourselves and then start to do more. Okay? Because they think that we're always going to crawl back for their crumbs. Okay? And we have to show them, no, we are not turning back. No, we are not turning back. We have turned black and we are not turning back. Okay? But, when we stand up and get off our knees and walk away, it shakes them to their very core. It cracks their very fragile white ego. Okay? It does. Okay? They thrive on being the epicenter of your world. They want to be seen as the image of beauty. Okay? That we're supposed to aspire to. But we have to stop doing this. We don't need to aspire to their Eurocentric version of what they conceal to, what they think is beauty, what I don't think is beauty. Okay? I think we have our own beauty. I think we have our own looks. I think we have our own hair. I think we have our own rhythm, our own music. We have our own vibration. We have our own essence. We have our own melanin. We have our own frequency and vibration. Okay? Jane Seymour, we've been doing more. A lot of us are tired. Yes. That's called black fatigue, as we discussed last week. And the way to get over black fatigue is to return back. Okay, we have to find a way in which we can create communes and live together. If finance is an issue, we have to learn to pool our money and do things together like all other nations do. We have to learn to trust each other and work together. It's very, very important. Yeah. Tony Fergie said, I tried to pull my 401k to begin the transition to Africa, but I have to show proof of hardship. Maybe many are doing the same. Okay. Well, if you can get a grant, take it all day long, you know, take it all day long. Okay. And do whatever you have to do, as Malcolm X says, by all means necessary. Okay. So I was saying that, and they think that they are the light of the universe. Yeah. So when you take back your light, you can imagine what happens. Okay. When you take back your power, when you take back your energy, and you take back your presence and your money, your resources out of their grasp, right? It exposes the cracks in their powerful facade, because that is what it is. It's a facade that we actually created with our blood and sweat and tears. Yeah, don't forget when they were in the so-called dark ages. Okay, who came in and showed them what real civilization was? Yeah. So nothing terrifies them more than being seen for what they truly are. Yeah, we've been pumping them up. We've been holding them up. We're the people that they have been standing on. It's our inventions. It's been our years and years and years of, you know, stolen hours of work, of servitude, of slavery that built them. All of those resources that they got from it. Okay, but this is what will kill their systems. And what will kill their system most is black people being out of their control. And the only way that you can get out of their control is to leave their countries. Okay. They will start to lose their grip on the power that they have over us, because as long as we stay in their countries, they have power over us. Okay. I want to go back through some of the comments. Okay. So Cara Lumsden said, true. Yeah. We did it twice. West Africans, we know. Yeah. Javel Higgins said the universe will balance itself out. The old powers will be replaced. I totally agree. But we have to take action. It's not going to happen by itself. We have to take action. We really do. We need to break those generational curses. I've been saying this for a long time. We have to break the generational curses. We have to come back full circle. We have to return. Okay? Because when karma is dealt, you do not want to be there. It's just as simple as that. When karma is going to be dealt, you do not want to be there. So, excuse me, they're loosening their grip. I'm just going to get some water. Sorry, one sec. Because right now, with all the information that's going out, they're loosening their grip on being able to manipulate us en masse. Because we're waking up. We're waking up. And more of us, as more of us come back to Africa and we share our truth, we share that, you know, hey, I'm in Gambia, I'm living a great life, I'm enjoying myself. And, you know, I don't have a mortgage, I don't have rent, I don't have, you know, the usual associated debts. I don't have water rates, you know, I don't have electricity bill. I just buy my gas by the canister. Do you know what I mean? I get my solar power from the sun. I'm living my life. I grow what I eat what I grow. And hang on, you know, I'm living a much better life, a stress-free life. I get my water from the earth. I'm eating, you know, fresh food. I'm having, you know, a more peaceful environment. I'm living among my own people. I'm not having that anxiety. One of the things that Dr. Cambon and I discussed yesterday, which is so important, I did write about Dr. Cambon. So if you've got any interest about him, go back in the community page. I did post a lot about him with regard to the citizenship program that we're going to do. Okay. And he was talking about the anxiety that he would feel when in America, when a blue flashing lights of a police car, or even in England, actually, because I experienced the same, right? Blue flashing lights come behind you as you're driving. You immediately start to get palpitations. You immediately start to feel on edge. You immediately start to worry, you know? You start to feel cautious. And then Like, he was saying that it happened to him in Africa and he felt nothing. He just like pulled over so the car could pass him because he knew it wasn't coming for him. And that is the complete difference. In England, you'd be having pure anxiety. Here, I see a police car behind me. I know they're going on their way somewhere. I just pull over and let them go. In fact, I stop, sometimes have a chat, you know, when the checkpoints or what have you. It's not the same. It's not the same. So it's completely different. And so I got my confidence back. I got my elevated sense of comfort, because it takes your sense of comfort, your sense of peace away from you. You don't live in peace. Yeah, peace is so important. Let me tell you, protect your peace. Magdalene, how are you? Yeah, that's Magdalene. How are you? Yeah. Javo said, BlaXit, the Black Baptist Church, massively contributes to the system of power which they had. That's why leaving the Baptist church made me very liberated. Thank you so much. Yeah, because, you know, they're trapping our minds in fear. Okay, fear is so dangerous to us. Fear paralyzes you. Okay, and this is what I was talking about just now with the police car. I had a sense of fear. Why? Because, you know, in my family, I'll just share something with you that's very, you know, deeply personal. But, you know, within my family, someone that I love dearly when I was very young was charged with a crime that they didn't commit. And I saw the police come in with their dogs, go and raid the house and whatever. And it creates that fear, even though that person was exonerated in the sense that they weren't found to be guilty. They were put on remand, you know, for a crime that they didn't commit, destroyed their life for a crime that they didn't commit. And, you know, it wields that power of the overseer. You know, when they're walking with their dogs or on their horses, or they've got their truncheons or they've got their guns, they still wield this overseer element over you. And, you know, it paralyzes you in fear. So would joy, sorry, I can't see this properly. Let me see. When it comes up, I'll say, would joy sorry, Wodjolajoy and Nas. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. It's an unusual name. Wodjolajoy or Nas. That's right. Joel says, oh, we're waiting on a superpower to liberate you. They're not going to liberate you. They're not going to liberate you. Let me just tell you this. You're going to have to liberate yourself. Yeah, stop waiting, no knowing what you can believe. You have to believe in yourself, okay, only. Let me just tell you this. You have to believe in yourself, okay? If you believe in the Most High, you know, you believe in your divine parents, you believe in your God, you believe in your Allah, you believe in Jesus, you believe in, you know, Hare Krishna, you believe in whatever you want to believe, you believe in Buddha. Listen, that's up to you, but use that as an inspiration to guide you back to your nation. Okay, that's what you have to do, and stop worshipping them. And stop, you know, seeing them as the image of your God. It just doesn't make any sense. How can your oppressor be the image of your God? How can that even be? And then, you know, then we say, oh, he doesn't have any color. And then, you know, they sell us into this whole, you know, colorblind bias situation where we still see them as superior, better than, you know, so rather than going and marrying a black sister, you're going to go marry a white sister because you don't see color. Like, oh, come on. You don't know what racism is. You don't know the system. You don't know what they've done to us for eons, for years. You're going to turn a blind eye to that and pretend that you're colorblind? Come on. You understand? Come on. Hi, hello. Hello, hi, sorry. Yeah? Javelle Higgins. I didn't say they never. I said, let me be very clear. Yeah? You can use it as your inspiration. Okay? You can use that as your inspiration to come back to your nation. Okay, because what they've tried to do, they've tried to demonize Africa, and I have a great issue with that. They've tried to use conditioning stimulus. This is what I'm trying to say about the secret program, which I will talk about in a minute, right? The African Conditioner Stimulus Program. It's a secret program that they've been used against us. So when you see Africa, you see poverty. No, you shouldn't see it like that. But that is what they've done. They make you think there's no big cities in Africa. There's not thriving nations or thriving businesses in Africa. Of course there are. How absolutely insane and ludicrous to think that they're not. But that's what they've done. They've sold us, you know, ludicrousy. They've sold us insanity. They've sold us a complete lot of, you know, poppycock. Yeah? Omar Ramdan. Yeah, Omar Ramdan. Hi, how are you? Yeah, welcome. Thank you for joining. Sheer Love, thank you for joining. Cara, thank you for joining. Yeah, absolute poppycock. They've been manipulating us en masse. They've been, you know, if I would have listened to what they said, I never would have come back to Africa. Yeah, you had like, I had some people who I didn't even know were narcissists. I tell you the truth, you know, who were trying to keep me trapped in England, using fear tactics and all kinds of things. Okay. Hello, hi Mo, how are you? Hi HW, how are you? Jean Rowe, how are you? And happy Sunday to you as well. Yeah. Okay. What's with the accent? I was born in England. That's what's with the accent. But anyway, okay. So many of us came back, and you know, now we're sharing our truth about the lives that we're living and how lovely it is. How lovely, and how lovely our people are towards us, and how welcoming and how warm they are. You know, there's been a lot of misinformation. Like, I was like, oh no, they just come in and they're going to treat you like a cash machine, and they're going to do this and going to that. No, you have your own discernment, you have your own control, you have your own mouth to say no. At the end of the day, it's about you controlling, you know, your own life. It's about you saying, you know, see me as my worth and value me as I am. You understand? Okay, Sheer Love, she's from, yes, East London, actually. That's where I was born. I am African, okay? Because it doesn't matter where you put an orange tree to grow, it's still going to be an orange tree. So I'm an African regardless of where I was born, okay? So, you know, what I'm saying is that they're losing their grip on being able to manipulate us. That is what I am saying, okay? And if they're losing their grip en masse. So the more of us keep spreading this information, share this BlaXit information. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But please share this information. It's crucial that we all learn from each other. We all share. I've always had an affinity with the ocean and its streams. Something comes within compelling more to. Yeah, and that's why I love being here. I'm so close to the water. I'm a water person myself. You know, I swear. If I was to be born of any deity, it would be Yemoja or Mami Wata, because I love water. I would love water. So I would be the child of Mami Wata, or the child of Yemoja, or the child of Aida. I would definitely would be, okay? Because it is our natural vibration. It's our natural frequency to be also, you know, near the rivers, near the seas. It is natural for us, okay? So, you know, when more of us come back, when we share their truth, their lies run out, okay? Their lies run out of fuel. Their lies run out of fuel. You know, they try to, you know, do everything to discredit me. They try to do everything to try and, you know, destroy, to do character assassination. They've done defamation. They've done lies. You know, this is always their modus operandi. The first thing they do when someone is telling the truth, they're giving you an opportunity, they're getting you out of their hole. The first thing they try and do is they employ another black person or group of them to group together to try and do a smear campaign or a defamation campaign or a disinformation campaign. And that's the first thing that they do. So when you see it, like they did with Marcus Garvey, like they did with Kwame Nkrumah, like they've done with all of our leaders, yeah, female and male, okay, they've done the same, okay. And you know, when we leave and go to Africa, they cannot gaslight us anymore, okay? They cannot feed off of our energy. Their control, yeah, of us as their fuel is over, and without it, they'll eventually start to run on empty, okay? They will, because they can't gaslight us anymore, okay? They can't feed off our energy. They cannot control us, okay? And they can't control us as their fuel. And without it, they will eventually start to run on empty, because we are their fuel, okay? Because they can't attack us, because truth tellers, yeah, we're truth tellers. And, you know, they'll keep attacking us, but we're going to still keep telling the truth, because, you know, they fear replacement. Let me tell you something. They fear replacement. What if a great majority of us replace the West with Africa? What if a great majority of us replace the West with Africa? What would happen to them? Tell me in the comments, Valerie McIntosh. You want to come home? Then come. Call me. +220 240 5273 via BlaXit, and let's sort out a plan on how you can. Okay? Let's sort out a plan on how you can. Cara Lumsden said, Nancho, will you be leaving the video up? We would love to share with a number of people. Yes, I will be leaving it up. It will be on the live. You have to go in. YouTube have changed it now. So they've kind of put all of the different areas on your channel differently. So this will be in the live section of BlaXit. So you can do that, okay? So it's +220. Thank you, Cafre. He just put it in the comment section. +220 240 5273. Okay. So it's their fear of replacement, and it's deep. Let me tell you, their fear of replacement is deep, 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 deep. Yeah. Who will help them to grow and their economy? Who will help them to build their nation? Right. What about what they're going to do about our intellect? What they're going to do about our bodies that they use as fuel? What will they? Who will they abuse? Whose talent will they misuse? Whose talent will they misuse? Who will they abuse? Whose bodies will they use as fuel? Yeah, whose intellect will they abuse and misuse and take as their own? Take as their own. That's what they do. They take our music, right? And then they change it a bit and then say, oh, we made this. When you know that they didn't. R&B, we made this. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Okay? So they know our strength, yeah? They know our superpower and our resources, right? And our capabilities. But they also know that we have a weakness, and the weakness is a fear of Africa. So if we can now overcome this fear of Africa, and they know that they control the finances, that's why we have to start to control our finances. We have to start to use all the skills that we have to make as much money using as many of the financial systems that exist as possible, and investing in what is going to be big in the future as possible, okay? But if we awaken, if we awaken to the truth about Africa, if we awaken to the truth about how they've kept us in this spell, they've kept us unconscious, they've kept us sleeping. When you return to Africa, right, excuse me, and you declare that their power is dead, because when you come to Africa and you declare your power over me is dead, do you know how powerful that is? When you come to Africa and you say your power over me is dead. Whoo. When you declare that, words power sound. When you declare that, you know, you break the spell that they have over you. Yeah, you declare and you decree that the power that they have over you is dead. They have no more power over you. And yes, it takes courage to walk away. I am not saying that it's, you know, oh, it's just a walk in the park and it's easy. No, it took me years of planning. Okay, it took determination. It took going against people who loved me. Okay, it took going in a completely different direction to everybody else. It took people saying, oh, she's going to Africa. Is she mad? Why would she leave England and go to Africa? Because I want peace. I want peace of mind. I want to feel comfortable. I want to live in a place, you know, what is it? 10% of the population of the UK are, you know, non-white. I want to live amongst my own. I want to live in a population, you know, where 90% of the people look like me. So now I can live in my majority. I'm sick of being, what do they call it? A thingy minority. What do they call it? Tell me again. It's ethnic minority. I hated it. When I know that I'm a world majority, I'm part of the world majority, so why am I standing in a country where they're constantly calling me ethnic minority? Black people need to stick together. That's absolutely true, Sheila. I agree with you, right? I agree with you totally. Yeah. You both make similar points. Yeah, we do make similar points, Javel. Absolutely. Cara Lumsden said they'll manage because they can do everything. And the thing is that I think not. I think not, because I think by saying that, what you're doing, yeah, is that you're taking away what we did for them. The NHS flagship. Take away every non-white person out of the NHS and tell me how it goes. Look at what happened just in COVID. Yeah? So, you know, just look at that. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose. That means it's true. That's what my grandma used to say. Itchy nose, that itchy jaw, right? Who built most of their infrastructures? What about London Transport? What about all of the infrastructures? At the end of the day, how about their care homes? How about their support workers? Their legal systems? What about there's just basic civil hygiene services, right? The fact is that without us, the system has grown so big that you need a large number to keep it up. So if 40% of your population disappear, I don't think that it will be the same. And I'll give you an example. Look at what happened in Detroit, in America. Look at what happened to Detroit. Detroit became like a ghost town, didn't it, at one point, when everybody decided to leave? And that is exactly what I'm talking about. Just go to Detroit and look at what happened to Detroit when they took the industries out of Detroit, okay? And then look at what else happened as a result. Look at, the unlawfulness that happened there, or the crime, let me just say that, yeah, that happened there. Yeah, so we have living examples of what happens when the majority of those people leave a particular area. So I would say that because it also have impact on the economy. You can't take 40% of people who are earning money in the economy, paying taxes into the economy, and tell me that will have no impact. Of course it will have impact. And I'm just talking about America. It must be true, my nose is itching. Okay, so I don't think that they'll manage. Hafini, Jeremiah, how are you? Thank you for joining us. I think I've missed some comments. I'm just going to go back. And Kamar G, how are you? Valerie, hello. Kamar said a minority. Yes, thank you for what you do. Thank you so much. Live in peace, said Valerie. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Yeah, Valerie Mackin said a gangster in Detroit. So, Cara said, true, however, I'm sick of glass roofs, whilst other people make millions off of my idea. Cara, I wish you was here to say it yourself, okay? Let me read your comment, if that's okay. I want everybody to hear Cara's comment, yeah? That it's true, because, however, I am sick. This is, you know what, Cara, I feel... I could hug you right now, because this is how I felt when I was in the UK. So I'm going to start again because I'm getting pulled into your comment. Okay, so Cara Lumsden said, true. However, I am sick of glass roofs or glass ceilings, okay? Whilst other people make millions off of my ideas, and now, yeah, my money is being played with at times, and I struggle with toxicity. Ain't it wicked and very, very hard? Yes. Do you know what? It's funny because I invented something when I was younger, and I tried to get it patented because I'm very creative. I like things. And I had the same situation where the company that I went to go through to pay to do the patent actually took my idea. This is a long time ago. I don't even know if the company's still in existence, but that did actually happen to me. So I do understand. So that's why we have to learn to do for self. Or, intellectual property was one of the areas that I wanted to practice. I didn't want to become an intellectual property lawyer at one time, but I studied law and everything, but I didn't quite make it because I'm too much of an activist. But Cara Lumsden said, giving thanks for the good, for the good, and who else? Something. Okay, Vernon Hawkins, I'm going to say hello to you. You're from Dallas, Texas. Welcome from Dallas, Texas. How is it there? Fathia, my love, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Hello from Minnesota. Thank you for letting me know where you're from. Thank you very much. Okay. Michael Kahneman said, what do you think about the title of BAME, Black and Ethnic Minority? BAME, Black and Ethnic Minority. What's the E at the end? And how, even though non-white folks are growing in certain industries, but jobs don't reach products, or BAME, especially the young people. Well, this is a travesty that was happening in England when I was there, and I can't stand the word black and ethnic minority. Well, you know what? I don't mind the word black. I love the word black. Do you understand? I love the word black, but what I didn't like, I worked in HR, And one of the issues that I didn't like was the clubbing together of racism with any other discrimination. I couldn't stand it, because what they were doing, they were watering down racism. They were taking away the importance and the prioritization that racism should have taken, and they watered it down by combining it with other things, such as the homosexuality agenda. So they clubbed it all together and put it under, you know, the Discrimination Act. Now, for me, it's not about that. You know, we have a genuine occupational requirement, okay, as black people, because we face certain levels of racism. It's important for us, and it's important for racism against black people to be seen as a special case in of its own case, not clubbed in with every other discrimination. And so, and different minorities have different backgrounds. They didn't have the same slavery background as what we had. So there's no comparison, and that's the problem, is that what they do is they club everything together and then think that the circumstances are the same. They are not. They are not. Because Chinese people are not arrested at the same level as young black boys and black girls are arrested on the streets. Okay, that is a fact. They are not given as many high sentences as young black girls and young black boys are. Okay, or even, you know, older ones. Okay, the same thing. Asians, Chinese boys and girls are not stereotyped in the same way that black girls and boys are stereotyped. They are not. They are not. If you think that they are, then explain to me. So how can we be all thrown in together when we're a completely different case and we have a different history? We have different experiences. It's not the same, okay? So anyway, I was saying, I'm gonna, oh gosh, it's nearly an hour and I haven't even finished. Okay, so what I was saying is that when you break free, yeah, you let go of the weaknesses that they put you in, yeah, you really do. And the ongoing cruelty, because even that is an ongoing cruelty. They're saying that you're not good enough, you're not a special case, and, you know, we don't want to recognize you as a special case, yeah? And what you do is when you come here, you gain clarity. So, you know, when they say black and ethnic minority, it shouldn't just be black and ethnic minority. It should just be black. It should just be black. That's what it was before. It was just black. So when they were doing statistics, it was just for black people. So we knew that we were being targeted by the police more than any other race. That's very important. Not BAME and then, you know, we can show that actually it's not happening. But we know it is. Okay, so when you walk away and you cut them off, you let them know, yeah, that your worth is not defined by their validation. So when you walk away and you cut them off, you let them know that your worth, yeah, your worth is not defined by their validation. And that is so important, because since our enslavement, they think that they still have some form of ownership on us, and we have to let them know that they do not. Okay, your future is not trapped in their illusions. Okay, your future, when you come here, your future is not trapped in their illusions. Okay, because you're free. You're no longer you no longer orbit around them. When you're living there, you're still orbiting around them. You no longer have to believe in their propaganda or their impropaganda, as Dr. Cambon said yesterday, and a deliberately crafted web of control and deceit. You don't have to be there, and it will create a disruption, and that's what we need to do. We need to be disruptors, okay? It will create a disruption, and that is what is important, right? One that they're not prepared for, and one that they thought was impossible. We have to do the impossible. We have to leave and come back, okay? You can destroy the pattern. You can rewrite the script. You can rewrite your own story, and you don't need their permission, because nothing terrifies them more than the possibility of us all leaving. Okay? Nothing. Okay? And I want to talk a little bit about, because the ACS is going to cover a couple of programs because it's a large subject. And I know that I kind of went off topic because I wanted to explain a little bit about the conditioning, okay? So that you would understand what the program is and how it's been working, because they've been running this program on us for a long time, but we can break the programming, okay? We can break the programming. So the programming is also related to our DNA, just so that you know, okay? So it's the African Conditioning Stimulus, it's a secret program, ACS program, okay? It's a secret program, and I'm going to tell you about it. So the African Conditioning Stimulus, right, is being applied against us because we are the firstborn builders of this earth, yeah, and we were needed by source to carry certain codes in our DNA, okay? I just want you to listen. I know you might think, oh, Juliet's going, woo, yeah, but this is just information that has been hidden from us, okay? Hidden in plain sight, you might say, yeah? And it was, it's due to our melanin and our ancestral tuning, right? We sometimes forget how important our melanin is. Our melanin is so important to us, and we mustn't forget how important it is that we are melanated. Sometimes I think that, you know, people are bleaching their skins, and I think, are they absolutely insane? Have they got no idea of the importance of their melanin? I'm going to go back through your comments, okay? So keep writing them. I'm going to go all the way through them in a second. I just want to go through this, right? So this African Conditioning Stimulus has been, it's been basically applied against us because of that, because they know we're the first earth builders. We were here first on the earth. That is just, they know this, okay? They know this. It's us that were told Adam and Eve were white, but they know that we were first, and it's melanated beings, okay? So just let me just crack that code for you first, okay? So they know that we carry divine codes within our DNA and our mitochondrial DNA, and due to our melanin ancestral tuning, we are natural conduits for higher frequency light. If you don't believe me, you can go and search all this up, okay? We are natural conduits for high frequency light, and that's something that they feared, because we alone can collapse their parasitic system. We can, okay? The same way that I was showing you about Maxwell using radio frequencies in order to power a car, okay? They are frequencies, but we are not tuned into them because we have been brainwashed, okay? We have been tuned out, and people that want to show you how to tune back in, you've either found dead or they're, you know, been unalive. Sorry, oh dear, wrong word, right? They're either unalived or their prototypes, their information, their manuscripts and stuff are destroyed. That's how important it is, because they know who you are, okay? They know who we are. It's us that are blind to who we are, because they've kept the information from us using an African Conditioning Stimulus program, which is a secret program which they didn't want you to know about, okay? So, because they know we can collapse their parasitic system, because they work as parasites. They take off of everybody else and feed off of everybody else, okay? Including us. But we've just got to realize this and take the parasites off us so that we can thrive. And, you know, we can do it almost effortlessly, but we have to wake up. This is the thing. We have to wake up. And our DNA has the highest cosmic memory in any regenerative being on this planet, okay? Let me say again, our DNA, I'm talking about us melanated beings, okay, has the highest cosmic memory, right, and regenerative potential. I'll say it again. We have the highest, our DNA has the highest cosmic memory, right, and regenerative potential. You should know this, okay? Okay? And it's the most powerful solar DNA on the planet. It's the most powerful solar DNA on the planet. Look at yourself differently now, okay? This is why we have to charge in the sun. This is why we have to be here. That's why it's important for us to be in places where we have sun. Not in England and places like that where you just hardly have any proper summers. And if you do, it's only for a couple months. No, we need to be where the sun is continuously. It might be rainy season here, but the sun is still shining. We might have storms, but the sun is still shining. Yeah? Okay? So this is why it's important. Because once we charge, there's a frequency that we have that is engaged. Okay? Okay. And what is conditioning stimulus? Stimulus, it is a repeated artificial trigger applied to force a subconscious response without your consent. So, for example, if you always think, you know, a conditional stimulus is that, oh, I'm less than, oh, I'm a criminal, oh, I'm not good enough, oh, I'm not going to succeed, oh, white people are superior, oh, I'm inferior. This is conditional stimulus. Okay, and that is what they've been doing to us. So rather than telling you, hang on a minute, you're the most powerful people on the planet. No, they tell you the exact opposite. That is their conditional stimulus. They've told us the exact opposite. And this has been a part of a secret program. It has. It really has. Okay. So what they do is they do it. They also do it in vaccines. Okay. Yes. Because they're interfering with your DNA. And you don't know it. So when you're running to go and take them jabs, you know what I'm talking about. You don't realize what they're doing. They're interrupting your DNA because they know who you are. And they know that it's time for you to wake up. They know it's time for you to come home. They know that there is an awakening that's going to happen in your spirit and in your soul and in your DNA. And it's going to be inspired when you come back here because there is a trigger in Africa. Africa has its own conscious trigger. But they don't want you to be triggered. It's the truth. You ask anyone who comes back if they've been triggered. They'll tell you yes. Yeah? Especially if they're conscious anyway. Yeah? They might be unconscious if they're not conscious. Toxins in your food, they're putting it in your food to subdue this. Okay? They're putting it in your food to subdue this. And so they're putting certain toxins, certain markers and so on that are affecting your DNA markers, okay? They are, and they're affecting your genetic markers, and that's going into the next generation. That's why it's important for us to come back and eat natural foods, okay? Because we're original light bearers, we are, okay? And it's in our blood, it's in our blood, and they know it, okay? But what they don't want us to know, right, is that if we charge, we charge each other. So when you come to Africa and you're among your own people, you're charging, okay? And the sun is also a stimulus, but they don't want you to know. Vibration, rhythm, natural foods, they are all stimuluses, yeah? And the media, right, and the entertainment is portraying us in a negative stereotype, which is also part of the conditioning stimulus to make us call ourselves B words and N words. No one is an N word. We must stop using that word. We must stop calling Emma Effa. Who F's their mother? And they say, oh, it's just a curse word. No, it's not. You're cursing yourself. You're cursing your bloodline. You're cursing, you're cursing your life bringer, your mother. How dare you? Now stop and think before you open your mouth. Stop and think before. This is part of the conditional. Why is it that we're still using the N word after all these years? Why are we still using it? That word should have been stopped being used. Why is it everybody else's lexicon changes except for ours? Why are we still using the MF word when we know what it meant and where it came from? And the evil that is attached to it. Why are we still using it? But this is the media and entertainment. They're reinforcing it, and they use certain people in the media. Okay, they use certain people who you call superstars. That you'll go and see the concert, and you'll hear them using these terms. You'll hear them using the N word. You'll hear them using the B word. You'll hear them using the MF word. You'll hear them using the N word repetitively, and you're singing along to it, and it's part of the conditioning. Even I didn't even realize. I was watching the Super Bowl, and there was and I was like, yeah. And then I realized after listening to certain other lyrics and other tracks that this, was using this artist who I must admit I did like essentially, was still using the N words and, these other words. And I'm just like, no, they're part of the programming and we have to deprogram ourselves. This is not attached to America. This is attached to our minds. And we have to deprogram our minds. We have to defrag. We have to take these things out of our stimulus, because what we put in our stimulus is what is going to stimulate us. Okay, stimulate our brains, stimulate our DNA, stimulate our future generations. If you say the N-word around your child is going to think it's acceptable language. It's not acceptable language. If we keep saying MF word in front of our child, they're going to think that it's acceptable language, and it's not. Yeah, portraying us in the negative stereotypes, violent, and so we have to stop these stereotypes. We're not violent, we're not unintelligent, and they're over-sexualizing us as well. It's too much. Yeah? Seeing us as criminal. And then while they're showing themselves as saints and, innocent people, right? And they're making us judge ourselves, right? And it's outside of our external judgment, okay? But we have to have internal judgment. We need to have our own internal judgment and switch it on, okay? Slavery was not just physical, it was conditioning stimulus, okay? Slavery was conditioning stimulus. Let me tell you that again. It was part of the conditioning stimulus. It's all a part of the program. We must rise above this, okay? It happened, yes, and we must never forget that it happened. But part of our conditioning stimulus is to, get justice for those that went through it. Where is our judgment in that conditioning stimulus? What are we doing? Why are we so passive? Why is it every other group has gone and got justice for their people, whether it's they've been the native, so-called indigenous, so-called Indians, which actually first originated from Africa anyway, and also, the Japanese, and also, the Jews. What happened to us? Because of the conditional stimulus, it's made us passive. Okay, so the chains, the beatings, the separation from family, the rape, the torture, the killing, to teach us powerlessness. But we are powerful, so now we should be standing in our power. Okay, they try to teach us powerlessness at a DNA level, right? And to make matters worse, they're now using these 5G towers, okay, and frequencies, and mobile phones, Wi-Fi, and they're attacking us silently through DNA manipulation, but we don't know because we haven't studied enough about our DNA. We haven't learned how important our DNA is. We haven't learned importance between our melanin and our DNA. We haven't learned enough about us and those frequencies that we give off. So there are people that are using free radical energy to power their own houses. They're using free energy, from magnetic energy in the air. So listen, so that means that if we are part of this, that means that we are also energy. That means that, we should be able to manifest what we want within that frequency if we understand how to use energy and how we are as a portal of that energy as well. But we haven't, because we've been stuck in this 3D concept of who we are. But we're much beyond that. And they've kept it as a program. I'm telling you, they're keeping it as a program, because when you come here, you vibrate differently. I'm telling you, when you come to Africa, your vibration changes. How is that? It's like your DNA changes. Okay? And so they also use inflammation. So that's the reason why it's not good to always use certain of their products and too much of their dairy products, etc. Okay, and they use a lot of false information. Okay, a lot of false information, and they do it over a long period of time. So they do it from nursery, with the nursery rhymes, with the BS in them, right, all the way up through to school, through to university, right? They use this stimulus and they're reprogramming our nervous systems. Okay, that's what they're doing. They're reprogramming our nervous systems and your emotions even. That's why we're having problems in relationships. That's why we're having promiscuity. How can being promiscuous, jumping from woman to woman or man to man, be better than being in a committed, loving relationship? But they fooled us. They fooled us because this is conditioning stimulus. This is what they've done, because they don't want us to form strong nucleus families. They've told us it's okay to cheat. It's not. Okay? This is all to break down the family. Okay? This is what they've done. They're showing men, they're demasculating men, and men are now, wanting women to provide for them, when men should be, the providers. Men should be the protectors. Men, men are supposed to be there. Women are the nurturers. Women are the caregivers. And so we need to, go back and remember our roles. And, men are supposed to be users and confusers. They're not supposed to be narcissists. Okay? This is the confusion that's going on. You understand? Men aren't supposed to be avoidants. They're not supposed to be cowards. They're not supposed to be runners. They're not supposed to be man-childs. They're not supposed to be childish and immature. They're not supposed to be, holding silent treatment and, just pathetic, ignorant behavior, breadcrumbing, stonewalling, all of these kinds of behaviors that have now become second place in our everyday relationships. These are not supposed to happen, but it's happening to us because of the conditional stimulus that's happening. So, continuous communication is becoming effective because the phones are interrupting our continuous communication. Because rather than having a conversation with your partner or your mum or your dad, you look in the phone and you go, you bury it or you don't tackle it. And so then builds resentment, then builds problems. So we have to deal with this. We have to tackle this. And they know exactly what they're doing because they're creating distractions to our development as a people. Yeah, because we are supposed to be on an ascension. Okay, we're not supposed to be declining. We're supposed to be ascending. Okay. And even in the field, an entire blood, even the field, they can interfere with an entire African bloodline. I'm telling you, and they're doing it. I've seen it. I want to share something with you. I'm not sure. It's a bit sensitive. I'm not sure if I should do it, but I'll give you an example of an African country which has far more homosexuality and AIDS than any other country. Look at the I can't say too much, but look at the continuous stimulus there. And then you'll also find that same country has the cure for AIDS, okay? But it's not put out for the world to know. They have the cure for AIDS in the same country that I'm talking about, but they didn't put it out for the world to know. But certain people do know. I know for sure, okay? So, why are they doing this? Well, I'm hoping you know. It's because they want they want your soul. They want you. They want you hook, line, and sinker stuck in their system. Okay, they want you trapped, which is what I was saying before. They want you to be trapped. They want you to be stuck. Okay, they want you to be weak, and they want you to believe that you're weak, but you're not. What I'm trying to explain to you is that. You have a superpower, okay? You have it. I've been saying it for the longest time. People think I'm joking. I am not. And we are also super psychic as well, but people aren't tapping in. People just are not tapping in, okay? We also have the ability to use a lot of our skills, okay? A lot of our skills, we can use them, okay? But they want you to make you think that you're cursed. No. They're cursed. They're melanin retentive. They're cursed, not you. Okay? You're not cursed. They are. Yeah? It's just that we're divided. Okay? So they want to keep us divided so that we can obey them. Okay? That's what they want. And this is part of the African conditioned stimulus. They're going to keep creating division between us. More and more and more factions between us. So when we all say, yeah, we're going to stand up as black people. That's important. When we all say, yes, if you're a black man, you're African. If you're a black woman, you're African. If you stand on that and you stay as that, then we start to empower ourselves just from that one statement, that I am. That I am statement is so empowering because that breaks down the division, okay? And it breaks down their external control over us, okay? But we hold the real power within, okay? It's our time to stand up and be and show our true potential, okay? It's our time to rise up. It is our time, okay? And the African stimulus program can only work when we're open to it, okay? So if we start to educate our children at home as well about who we are, we start to, teach the principles of Ma'at, yeah? And we get out of their system, yeah? we can grow, we can develop. I know I've been on here for over an hour. I keep going over an hour, don't I? I don't know. Get out of there, you know, their crazy system. Okay, we have to get ourselves out. We are inventors, we are creators, you know, we are educators, we are mothers, we are fathers, okay? And we are melanated, we are powerful, and being in Africa makes you feel more powerful, okay? It really does. I went through, you know, about the 7 principles of Ma'at, yeah? And I told you about the difference between Ma'at and Ifset, yeah? Isfet is what they are. Isfet is chaos, violence, evil. Yeah, I'm not saying that in order to defend yourself, you shouldn't be violent, okay? What I am saying is that that is the essence of who they are, but it's the exact opposite of Ma'at, okay? And that's not who we are, okay? Let's just live by those principles, remember those principles. I'll give you a reminder of those principles next week. I'm going to go through your subjects now, but I want you to remember that this African stimulation, this African stimulus program is conditional this African, right, conditioning stimulus program or conditioned stimulus program is running daily, and now it's heightened. This is why I've done the program, is because they've upped the ante, because we're coming back to Africa, okay? And they know what we're leaving. They know that we're leaving, okay? So they've upped the ante in order to get you to stay, okay? So to make whatever they're doing look more attractive, whatever they're doing look more appealing, okay? So just be aware, okay? And don't take any jabs if you can, okay? Try and stay away from their toxic foods. Just try and keep it natural. Order your food from organic farms and stuff like that, because they're doing it now and they're putting it in the food. I'm just telling you, because you need to know the truth. So you need to be careful of, you know, what you eat, what you drink now, because they're not playing. They're just not playing, okay? They know that we want to go. They know that we're tired. They know that we're fed up. They know that we've had enough of them. And they also know the collapse that's going to happen to their economies, the collapse that's going to happen to their countries, the collapse that's going to happen to their industries, the collapse that's going to happen to them as a population, because they can't live in the sun as well as us, okay? So just understand that, okay? Cara. Now let's go through your comments, okay? Shaniqua, Karasa, how are you? Watching Hawks, Karasa, Shakia, and Shine Thy Light, how are you? Wallastic Bossing, hello. Let's have a look. Cara said fact, because they don't do the same. Okay, David Cotter's Control said, we're breaking free, we're soaring, flying, there's not a star in heaven that we can't reach. More power. Kisses to you, Dave. Okay, thank you so much. Wonderworld said, what's your name? Nyancho Kajabi, aka Juliet. Okay, yeah. Why should you be special? Because I was born special. Why aren't you? Michael Cartman said, true, it's exactly what the UK government does. It covers one thing up with another, and so on and so forth. Yes, it's 100% true. David Cotter says, are you serious? This is preposterous. Love from an African Moroccan living in England. Thank you. Is that Wessex? Wessex? Wex, I think that is. Don't know how to say that. So Michael said, hey, appreciate your truth and keep it true to who you are. Have a good day from East London and Essex. Yes, exactly. East London and Essex. That's where I hailed from. The last place I lived before I came to Gambia was actually in Essex. So Krasa Ajaka said, it's your name, thank you. Oh, you got that. Rumpelstiltskin, it's true, governments hate when we can get along. Very true, very true. Meto said, it's not that secret. Well, I'm glad that it's not, because the fact is that they have a huge program written about this, including things like breakfast cereals, juices, drinks, certain injections, and certain types of foods, processed foods. So, no, this is a different thing that they're putting in. It's a different thing, okay? And it's specifically made to interrupt our DNA, okay? It's specifically made. When they go to their meetings, and with their old big owl that they like to burn, you know what I'm talking about, they discuss these things. Okay, we're the firstborn builders of this earth, absolutely. BlaXit said, how can it be a secret? Cara Lumsden said, a lot of people I know this, and I'm glad you know this also. I'm glad. Black, white, and Asian keep the true. Vitamin D deficiency is very bad for your health. Cosmic memory. I'll explain it next week. Facts. You're right. Conditioning holds people back. Where's the original African? They were, just like the Tainos. Research the Tainos. In fact, there's something that I'll find and I'll read to you about the Africans that came to America first. I'll find it. I think I read it already, actually. No, I think I did. I'll go back through my notes. I think I already showed you evidence of this, and I mentioned about the king and where he was and his name, and the ships that came and when they came, etc., etc. So I think I did this. It was some African kings that came. I will an African king, sorry. I will go back through the notes because I did share it. I also shared it on the community page, so do feel free to scroll up and down in the community page. I do share information there quite a lot. So Robert B. Lawrence says, I like your accent. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. Grind hard. 80 said amen. Sheer Love says, first Homo sapiens came out of Africa, spoken by and proven by anthropologists. Absolutely. Sheikh Anta Diop. Sheikh Anta Diop said it, and he done an extensive study. I know that he wrote in French, but there are translations. So do check out Sheikh Anta Diop, okay? I've been born out of course Ethiopia as soon as born out. Yeah, absolutely, Sheer Love. So, Z-Boy, hi, how are you? Fathia, hi, how are you? Okay. So anyway, I'm going to wind up now. Noida and Fame, I'm just saying hello to also Matthew Stanton. We need to teach our children to love themselves and to love us. Yeah, absolutely. So Matthew said he's a boy. With a name like Matthew, I should think so. Unless you're trans, are you? Moxley Gisa said, hey, beautiful, how's South Africa country? You in South Africa country, thank you. Oh, you knew what I was talking about then. I'm going to say anything else. Okay, Wendy Green. Wendy Green says, hey Nyancho, warm greetings. Thanks for the dedication and information. We need to remember there is nothing too diabolical for them. Absolutely. But this new thing that they're putting in is literally to interrupt our DNA. I mean, it's specifically made for us. A wicked then wicked. You know, I heard about it before, but I didn't know that it had been rolled out. And itchy cheek, sorry, right? But it's been rolled out, fam. Okay, so this is what I'm telling you about the program, is that it's been rolled out. If I just put out alert like this on YouTube, then it would probably be taken down. So I do it in a way in which it's coded within words, and we have to shatter the illusion. And they also know that now we're being supercharged by the sun, not just charged, but supercharged. Okay, because there's certain cosmic, let's just say certain cosmic vibrations that are now out in the ionosphere, in the atmosphere, and they specifically impact on our DNA. That's why you see certain things are changing in the world now. It's because we're being impacted. Okay. Hello, my beautiful Jamaican sister bird. How are you? Yeah, Samuel Obaga says hi. Hi, Samuel. How are you? Wendy Green, thank you so much. Yeah, Ray says you're beautiful. Are you single? You have the number to ask me that. +220 240 5273 on WhatsApp. If you want to ask a question, don't forget. Okay, so ask me the questions. In advance of the programs, I do answer them if you write to me on +220 240 5273 via WhatsApp. So if you want to ask me anything about reparations, anything about, oh Juliet, what reparation land is available, do you still have those $1,000 plots in Bussorah? Yeah, you can WhatsApp me and ask me, okay? So yes, the $1,000 plots are still there in Bussorah. I haven't made the program yet, but I will, okay? So, and Ray, are you single? I asked the question back, how's that? Oh gosh, Signora Chippy. The thing, same thing is going on here in America. I've never thought I'd live long enough to see the crumbling of colonialism. Well, you are. That's amazing, isn't it? You are. Imagine, 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 imagine. So Boston Osman says, hello, beautiful. You're in Boston and you're from Kenya. Lovely Kenya. I have a friend in Kenya. Let me say hello, friend in Kenya. Okay. Let's just get rid of this. I just had to hide someone from the channel. Sorry about that. Have hackers got nothing better to do on a Sunday afternoon? Have you got nothing better to do? Go out and get some sunshine. Go and kick a football. Yeah? Go and get a glass of water or something. Have a drink. Sit down. Relax. In fact, look in the mirror and say, I'm a complete idiot. Because that's what you are. Okay? You're a complete idiot. Why would you write that? Stupid. Oh, Kip2 says hi. Boston Omari says, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Something says, Caffrey? Sorry, I'm just having to delete some people. I apologize. Caffrey? Where's my mod? Como Sisse, hi, how are you? Okay, it's +220 240 5273. Okay, +220 240 5273. Okay, so listen. this is the last I'm going to talk about. I've just read your comment about money being a problem. It wasn't a question, so I'm going to just talk to it. Okay. Now listen, I've had people who I've known who have given blood to get money. Okay, sold their blood literally to get money to come back to Africa. I've known people that have gone online and taken jobs working for online dating services. When I mean online dating services, they actually, there are people that, you know, don't have time to do it. So dating services, in order to make sure that their numbers are high on their services, they have people that, you know, are basically shadow people that are entertaining people, because if not, then the services wouldn't be useful, would they? So there are companies that do that. There are different online jobs that you can do. There's some really unusual ones that are online that you can apply for to do, okay? And to get money from. You don't have to be in that particular country to do that job. There's quite a few different things that you can do online to get money also. And if you are, I don't know where you are, Chemo. Do you know? Not Chemo, sorry. Boston. Yeah, I don't know where you are in terms of earning money. So if you contact me, +220 240 5273. That's +220 240 5273. Yeah, if you contact me, then maybe we can talk about, you know, some money making ideas for you, okay, or money generating ideas. Yeah, we're all fine. Thank you so much for asking, Chemo. Chemo, thank you very much. Okay. Okay, if you're from Kenya, I have a friend in Kenya. Okay. So I don't know as much about Kenya, but I do know about some ideas about, you know, making money online. So maybe we can talk about that. Okay. So BlaXit family, BlaXit family, BlaXit family, I'm going to thank you all so much for coming onto today's live. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. Thank you for the thumbs up. KF Census says hello. My thank you. You got my number now. Okay, great. So yeah, I want to say thank you for watching. Yeah, and thank you for being a part of the process, being a part of the program today. I really love your engagement, and I want to thank you so much, because without you, I wouldn't be here, okay? And I want to thank you for watching for content about Africa, watching for content about how we protect ourselves, watching for content about how we empower ourselves, and content, obviously, about different African nations. I didn't focus too much in on that this week, because I wanted to answer some questions, but I will be bringing you some updated news from Africa. The delegation of people will be going to Burkina Faso in October, and hopefully getting their citizenship. Oh yes, oh no. I hopefully will have some news about Gambian citizenship as well. I did have a very important telephone conversation yesterday, and I was just about to share it, and then I just remembered that no, I didn't get all of the information, so let me wait until I get all the information to share. So then I will tell you. So +220 240 5273, and that's Lagia. Yeah, that's +220 240 5273, and that is on WhatsApp. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to have my lunch and I'm going to hopefully next week, same time, same place, 3 p.m. On a Sunday, BlaXit Sunday Live. Remember, if you want to ask me any questions that you'd like me to answer for next week's show about repatriation, coming back to Africa. Yeah, and remember this week's question, I was asked about, you know, the first steps to do when you're planning to repatriate. And I did say the first thing to do was to assess your assets, your money, your finances, you know, to look long term, because you can't just think come here and live off your savings. It doesn't work like that. So to establish a business or get an online job and other sources of income, whether it's agriculture, whether you're going to open the shop, do retail, or you're going to offer a service, etc., etc. And yeah, they do employ nurses here. The salary isn't as high as there, but obviously the cost of living is much lower as well. So John Ray, hi. Okay, good night. And that's West Papua, isn't it? Yeah. Papua Medica. Yeah, Papua Medica, Free West Papua. And I hope everybody remembers to please still campaign to free West Papua. West Papua is still under occupation by Indonesia. It's our people. They're taking their gold, they're taking their silver, their copper, they're taking their natural gases, and they've got the people under oppression. They've been under a silent genocide. Okay, so don't forget the people of West Papua. And they do have a free West Papua movement online that you can join and engage with and support, okay? Because our people are in need of your help, okay? They have already killed over 500,000 West Papuans, okay? So they need our help. So don't forget about Free West Papua, okay? And all the other things that happen on the continent, we can talk about them maybe next week. So I love you, and I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging with me. Please do give me some thumbs up and some likes. I really appreciate it, because it helps with that all-important algorithm. And also, as you know, we are not monetized. So if you'd like to donate to BlaXit, of course you can. You can via PayPal using the email bopcollective@yahoo.com. And that's bopcollective@yahoo.com. And also, just the last thing, I will be putting up our certificate of our trademark, because a lot of people have tried to imitate or pretend to be BlaXit. They're not. We are the original BlaXit, okay? BlaXit only, not BlaXit this or BlaXit that, or this BlaXit or that BlaXit. No, it is just BlaXit. Okay, that is our trademark, that is who we are, and yes, it's registered, and that's who we're known for, and yes, I am the founder of this channel, BlaXit. So anyway, thank you so much. Yeah, great engagement. I want you to have a fabulous week. I want you to realize that you are powerful. I want you to know that, you are divine, and I also want you to know that the world is your oyster. Yeah, and it is what you make it. The world is what you make it. Okay? And remember, we are all Africans. One destiny, one love, one unity. Okay? One Africa. Okay, love you, BlaXit family. And I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you next week. At least I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you next week. Okay, love you, love you. Love you lots. Yeah, and make sure you love yourself first. Okay? Love yourself. And look in the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself. At all times. You're black, you're beautiful, you're black magnificent, black excellent.